Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Please post my story as anonymous. I signed a spiritual contract that I signed at a graveyard with my blesser back in those days when Zuma was still our president. Brother Nashi, it was in the late 2000s, early 2010s. There was a friend of mine who told me to start dating politicians. I even laughed at her and I was like, where am I going to get these politicians? And then she told me that she knew this other man that you had to pay a lot of money and then he will help you to become connected to old politicians, those that wanted a young, beautiful university students like I was. I was young, a young, beautiful university student, and I wanted a soft life. That was when I met a local high-ranking politician here in KZN. This guy, he was rich. When you talk about a man that had deep pockets, he had very deep pockets. He never complained. Even the day when I borrowed money from him, he said, I don't want you to say that you want to borrow money from me. I want you to demand money because I am here to take care of you. He was a blesser. He started to pay for my tuition because I was having problems. I was unable to get state funding because my parents, they were caught in a level where you are not rich and you are not poor, and the state can't give you any benefits. You are caught in between. So even though I was going to university, but my parents, they were quite struggling a lot. And this guy, he just came into my life. He started to change and to move things in my life, paying for my tuition. And I told my parents not to worry about the tuition because I had finally gotten a job because my parents, they were in a rural area whilst I was in Devon. So they did not even know some of the things that I was doing back in Devon. So I would lie to them that I am having multiple jobs whenever I was not at school. I am busy working in different restaurants. So I was able to pay for my own tuition. So this guy was the one that was responsible for everything. And he even moved me into a luxury apartment. But then I quickly learned that in this world, there is nothing that is for free. And usually when something shifts in the country, when politicians change offices, if someone is removed from the office, those that would have removed him from the office, they have their own people that they want to eat with. And when I started to date this guy, that was when I started to understand that in order for you to be able to make money, you need to be politically connected. Without any political connections, it will be very impossible for you to be earning a lot of money from the tenders. You will submit until Jesus comes back and they crucify him, goes back to heaven. You will never get a tender. That is what this guy told me. He said, unless if you know people that are higher up there in the offices, that is why people fight to go to parliament so that you can have big tenders. So he told me. And when those Zuma days of investigations were happening, his tenders, they were not going to his company like the way that they used to before that. So my blesser, he told me that he was desperate, he was starting to lose, he was bleeding a lot of money on a daily basis. He then told me that he traveled to Mozambique to see a powerful traditional doctor, and then he came back. He was given an instruction. This instruction that was given to him, it was an instruction to protect his money, to protect his wealth, and to protect his freedom so that there won't be anyone to investigate him. He had to perform a ritual with a woman who was on her menstrual cycle, and the act had to take place inside of a fresh grave. He promised me a permanent government job after graduation, and he promised me that I was going to live a life of comfort. When a man that has been giving you comfort, when he promises you more comfort, what will you ever ask for? There was nothing anymore that he would ask from me that I would refuse or to say no, because he had already proved it to me that he was not all about sleeping with me only, but he also showed me that he cared. He was a man that cared for me dearly and deeply, and I was supposed to give him whatever that he wanted so that I can keep on getting as much money as I could get from this guy. Life was so beautiful. I had a beautiful car, I had a nice apartment, and already I knew that I was going to be working and he was going to give me a permanent government job after my graduation. At the time, I was doing my internship attachments at a department that he also had his own friends controlling. So I knew definitely that I was going to be chosen, me and this other girl that was dating another big politician. It was only the two, because there were two women that were needed and two guys that were supposed to end up working permanently for the department. And there were many of us. We all wanted that permanent position. So when he told me about this, Brother Nanshin, I believed my boyfriend and we drove to a cemetery. This we did, it was in the middle of the night. We did not do it in Durban, in the city, no. We drove to this other village and then we waited until it was very dark. Late at night, we drove to that cemetery with his lights of the car. They were turned off, and then we were inside of that cemetery. I was on my period because we had to wait until I was on my period, just as the ritual had required. Then it was cold, Brother Nash. It was raining a little bit, in the way that it was so cold. The moment that we stepped outside, I even felt that I could not do it. But simply because I wanted my blesser to be happy, and I did not believe that whatever that we were doing, it was something that was spiritual. I just thought that maybe it is stupid African belief that he still believed in as an old person. So I just wanted to please my blesser so that he won't go out there and to look for another woman. We then got on top of the grave. He made me to sleep on top of the grave. Guys, I was naked, really naked, sleeping on top of a tombstone that was cold as hell. And after that, that was when he came on top of me, and then he started to sleep with me whilst I was on my period and it was raining. The ritual, it worked for him, because after that we rushed to his offices for his company, and then we got there and we made love again in the reception area, in the boardroom, as well as the office. It was busy throughout the night, and then early in the morning, that was when we went to a hotel where we slept until it was in the afternoon, and he said that he was going to a meeting. My blesser, his company was protected, while his others were losing their companies. His was never investigated. I got the job that he had promised me, Brother Nanshi, but the Durban slave-in lifestyle just led me into another nightmare, because I was into this lifestyle as a slave-in. Me and my blesser, we started to fight. He was saying to me, I am a politician. You can't be going around and then you are sleeping with these boys that will end up maybe thinking about robbing me. I did not understand him at that time, because there were days when he was not available, so I would be with other blessers. That was my move that I took. And then we dumped each other. He said that he could not continue dating a loose woman like me. He said that he wanted me to stay and to wait for him, but I could not. I wanted someone that would always go out with me at all the time. By then, I was smoking Zol, I was drinking on a daily basis. I even grew long dreadlocks. And then I started to date a Nigerian. When I was dating a Nigerian, by then I had moved from Durban. I was staying now in Pretoria, then I moved to Joburg. I met a Nigerian man who was a drug lord. And then as we were dating, before I could even know it, we were on a plane going to Brazil. I went there not for a vacation, even though we said that it was a vacation. I went there because I was carrying these drugs. And when we arrived in Brazil, he got paid, and he paid me not a lot. Then life continued. Eventually, I met my current husband. So this is how I met my husband. So the story goes like this. When I met my current husband, me and my friend, we were just sitting. We had been with this other blesser, because this blesser of ours, he used to take us on a date. We would go together on a date, then we would go to his house. So we were sitting whilst our blesser was fast asleep. Then my friend was like, I'm tired. Then we started to laugh as we were counting. It was like a body count of the men that we have slept with. I was shocked, Brother Nashi, as we were counting. I had a much bigger body count than my friend. I had slept with 200 guys that I could count and remember that I once slept with this guy, 200 men that I had slept with. And then I said, I can't do this anymore. Even my friend was like, it is time for us to get married. Do you know that mostly slave queens, they end up getting married to guys that are even highly educated? Some of it, they use charms, but as a woman that has been with a lot of men, you know how to handle a man, you know how to lie to a guy that you are enjoying sex when you are not even enjoying. You can even pretend as if this guy is your first guy, to pretend as if you do not even know how to make love to a man, as well as having a good character. And it can be a fake character, like what we decided to do, me and my friend. When we eventually got married, we looked for a church, a traditional church that I can't mention by name, where we know that men, they marry. They are different type of men. They are men that will not want to marry. In those traditional churches, they believe in marriage. So we started to go to church, me and my best friend, and that is when I met my current husband. I pretended as if I am a woman of good character. Even his parents, they started to love me, and they told him that if he was not going to marry a woman like me, then they were going to disown him. He's a good man. He knows nothing of my days when I was still in university. He does not know about the 200 plus guys that I have slept with. He knows nothing about the rituals of Mozambique, or when I went to Brazil with a Nigerian guy. We have built a stable life. We have a home, a car. We have a nice place where we are staying. But I feel as if the foundation to our marriage, it is shaking. So from our first night of our marriage, I could feel that my husband is not powerful in bed, but I just pretended. As a woman that has dealt with men before that have sexual dysfunction when their manhoods are not working, I know about the herbs. I had guys, older guys, that used to drink herbs before they would sleep with me. So every night when I knew that my husband would want to sleep with me, I would mix some herbs without him even knowing, in his tea or in his juice that he would drink before going to bed. Then we would have a nice time in bed, but eventually his body stopped responding to the herbs. And then I went to a sangoma. When I went to a sangoma, the sangoma then told me that when I slept on top of a grave, it was designed to lock my sexuality to that politician's luck. So by sleeping with my husband, it makes my husband not to be okay. His manhood is blocked so that he can't have an erection, because I am supposed to be with the blesser until I die. What I do right now, even though I have a great job, I have a nice husband, we have kids, but I have been spending my nights thinking about returning back to my ex-old blesser. He is very old right now, and I do not want to go back to him because the fear that I have, Brother Nash, is that right now a man who can sleep with you on your period on top of a grave, he is someone that does not have good intentions for you. I'm scared that if I go there, what if he uses me for more rituals? My husband, he loves me, but he's always frustrated when I touch him. He does not understand why is it that his manhood refuses to wake up. I feel as if I am about to tell him I am a woman that is living in a beautiful house, but rather the things that I did when I was still in university, they are haunting me. I'm scared that if I confess, I will risk to lose everything. My husband is a good man. I know that if I tell him about this, he might divorce me. He can leave me because he will say, so all along, I have been blaming myself, but you were the one that made my manhood not to work. My fear is if he goes to experiment out there with another woman, then he sees that his manhood is working, what will become of me? I am writing this because I feel as if I go around carrying skeletons in my closet. I want my husband to be a man. I want to be a wife who knows that when she is in her bedroom with her husband, she enjoys to the fullest. Not this thing that I am doing, that when I sleep with my husband, I have to hold his manhood so that it won't get out of my private part. Even when I am coughing, it can just go out. It can't work. It is not even working when we are using herbs. Please understand me. I am scared to confess to my husband. I'm scared that if I confess to him, I'll end up shaking the foundation of my marriage. What do you recommend me that I do? The sins of my past, they have come to haunt me. I never knew that just by sleeping with a blesser in the graveyard, it was going to affect the way that I will enjoy or not enjoy my marriage. If someone would have told me by then that do not go to the graveyard, because once you go to the graveyard, you are going to suffer later on in life, I was not going to do it. I need help. If you know anyone who can help my husband without him knowing where the problems are coming from, because I want my husband to be a man again, but I would not want my husband to know that the problems, they are coming from the fact that I slept at a graveyard with a man who was using me for his rituals. Please assist me. I'll be grateful if you can post my confession on your channel and also give me a link. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister. Let us try to speak with our dear sister in the comment section. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. Can you believe it? She is looking for some home remedies so that her husband can be okay again and they can start to enjoy their marriage. If you know anything that can assist her, maybe you can tell him in the comment section. Let us meet again in the following episodes.